What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Water. This is the last episode for 2020. Today, I have a special guest, Mr. Brad Hicks. And this episode is going to be all about you guys. So let's take a moment and introduce our guest. Brad, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're kayak fishing out of, and what you're all about, man.
Brad Hicks. I'm from Kettering, Ohio. Born and raised in Ohio. And I'm fishing out of a Hobie PA-12 at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah. So
if you guys haven't been following Mr. Brad Hicks on Instagram or Facebook, you definitely got to check him out, because this man right here will show you how to throw down on the Little Miami.
the Great Miami. I do fish the Little Miami too, though.
What's that, buddy?
I fish both. There's a Great Miami and a Little Miami up here, but I like the Great Miami better.
So how long have you been fishing for, Brad?
Well, I grew up fishing with my dad, and then there was like a point in time where we didn't fish for 10 years. So I picked it back up after I moved out, which was about like 22 years old, I'm guessing, something like that. And I've been fishing for 10 years.
Nice.
on my own.
Cool. And then when you're not fishing, what are you doing to fuel your habits?
Take pictures of my gear and then post it on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah.
And on Paddle and Fin, you are the host.
Yep. The final cast.
And with the final cast, a little bit about your segment.
Me and Josh Eldridge, we do a product review segment on the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network where we talk to people in the industry about their products. We do highlights on products, and a lot of it's positive stuff. Like, we like to talk to the people in the industry about their products, but then we'll also do review segments to where there's products that we don't like, and we'll talk crap about them. It just depends on, I want to keep it honest. So I don't always want to talk about the good, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
and that's what we need, man. We need a lot of blunt. It just has to be blunt. Because people pay good money for products that are out there. And if you're, let's face it, you're in a market today where you're flooded between pro staff and try this and this bait and this the other. And especially if you're new, there's a lot of people who are new to the kayak fishing world and the tournament scene. So when you get flooded left and right with this is the way to go, or this is the way to go, and and it's happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to a lot of our listeners, you don't know which way to go. So having a podcast or having an outlet to help you guiding your decisions, and by all means, when I've heard before becoming a member of the podcast, I listened to your guys' segment, and it's my decisions were made based upon a lot of your guys' opinions. So, it's out there. And when you influence like that, it has a great impact on these companies too.
Yeah. I'm no way in like a expert at some of this gear stuff. It's just, I use it. So I form an opinion. That's basically what it is.
And what else it is that you're an everyday angler. You're an average guy, and this is an average. We're average people who take these opinions from everyday people and trust it. Because let's face it, we're not Kevin Van Dam, Mark Zona out there who are spewing sponsors left and right, striking this and so on and so forth. We're out there every day just like everybody else, and we give an honest opinion about a brand that we so desire.
Yeah, and most of the time those products are, they're not low end, but they're not like super high end either.
Absolutely.
So we keep the budget in mind when we're talking. And a lot of our shows revolve around companies that we like to use, so a lot of it is going to be positive. But we ended this year with an episode, me and Armando, talking about gear we didn't like this year, so we'll throw some stuff like that in as well.
Yeah, and it's much needed. So,
Yep.
well, thank you for the introduction, and let's jump right in. This is going to be our listener's choice episode. So, over the last week, if you guys have been following my personal Facebook, my Instagram for 4 Star Fishing, and Paddle and Fin's Instagram, you've been seeing a lot of questions being posed about travel and destinations and fishing destinations. So tonight we're going to put your guys' answers out there and for everybody to hear and give people somewhat of a fresh perspective and a fresh hope for 2021. Because let's face it, this year absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
So, without any further ado, let's hop into these questions. So, the first question that was posed was, if you could pick any destination to travel to in the United States, where would it be and what draws you there? So, the answer I have is Boston, Massachusetts. Um, what draws me there is kind of unique. It's even though it's considered a bigger city, there's a lot of charm to it. I've never been, number one. Um, a lot of the architecture that's around there, I'm kind of a nerd for that. And also too, fishing. You're in like striper heaven. I mean, to go out and I'll throw a little sauce out there, but I'm a little jealous of John B and the Guggen Squad when they did their little adventure out there. But it actually opened up my eyes to how much of a sleeper that place is. It's they caught a 5 pound bass in the river in Boston, and they were catching monster striper in the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, you got fresh and saltwater there too. Nobody really thinks about that part of the Atlantic coast being saltwater, but that's all saltwater fishery right there as well. So
Yeah.
Boston is my answer for this one. Fred, what do you have?
Well, first I'll say Boston's a good pick because, like, man, I didn't even think about that. The history, and then like you got the sports traditions. I'm a sucker for sports tradition, man. I absolutely love it. I love getting to a big city and just seeing like that town rep their sports teams, and it's awesome. But I think I answered maybe Texas. I'm Houston. I'm guessing.
Okay,
That's near the coast down there, right?
it
Yeah.
sure is.
I've never actually been to Texas, but man, I think what draws me there is the weather, the fishing, of course, and then I've seen pictures of rivers. There's a guy I follow on Instagram. I'm a big river guy. He fishes these Texas rivers. I'm like, man, those look awesome. Really shallow rivers, and then like in the middle of nowhere. Doesn't look like it'd be in Texas. It just kind of blows my mind. But yeah, Texas would be my pick, and I've always wanted to try Whataburger or whatever it's called.
You know what? So I have been to Texas quite a bit, and I love Texas. And if it was up to me, when I retire, that's on the radar for where I'd move to. But we gotta crawl before we could run.
Yeah,
But I will say this, and I probably will be beheaded for it. And if Armando's listening, he'll probably want to kick my ass when I come down there. I think Dustin would too, but I don't think Whataburger's that great. I
oh,
said it. I said it.
you make a bunch of people mad because I hear it all the time.
But I will say this: I will give it a second chance because I had it inside the Dallas, inside the Love's Airport in Dallas. So
Oh
it
yeah,
was airport one, but it still wasn't that great.
yeah. That's like a McDonald's in the middle of like a rest area. Or
Yep.
something. That's funny.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna answer some of your guys' questions here. Give me 1 second. And then And guys, just so if you guys are listening and watching this on Facebook, we have new software, so we're playing around with it, but just getting used to some of the features on here. So the let's see here. We want to go back to here we go. All right, so on my Instagram, for this question, there was one actual reply in here that was through it was through the when you post it up on the wall and it was posed as a question and someone answers in the question. I have it written down, and it was Rocky who answered Gatlinburg and the Smoky Mountains because of the draw, how beautiful the scenery was the answer that was responded from there on the Instagram. But on Facebook, on my personal Facebook, I had quite a bit of response here. So I'm going to share that screen with you guys, and we're going to read off some of your guys' answers.
Tennessee's a good one, man. I love Tennessee.
Oh, you ain't kidding, man. Tennessee is great. Now that's where me and Olivia meet in the middle on of when we want to retire. That's one of the options.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and read off some of the comments that came through on my personal Facebook page. And we have Martin. He has Louisiana for the food and music. And you know what? Have you ever been to New Orleans?
No. Further south I've been is like Georgia, I think.
So New Orleans is actually is a good time, but if you had to do it like in 3 days. If you do any longer than 3 days, you're like, crap. It's like Groundhog Day every day down there.
That's funny.
Oh yeah. Chris Quinn, he said his family vacations are always around the lakes, water skiing, tubing, fishing, cruising, decent town with things to do. The Dells, Table Rock, Branson, Hot Springs, Arkansas, with Lake Hamilton. So that's cool. And you know, I've been to Branson and Table Rock, and that's an awesome time there, man. Table Rock is a great lake to fish.
I want to go.
Vicky has the Grand Canyon, Vegas, and then Nashville. And then she said the Grand Canyon is majestic, Vegas for the atmosphere and the energy, and Nashville for music on every corner, good vibes, and good food. So I had to agree with her on Las Vegas. Las Vegas was kind of like a weird it was a very weird time when I was down there. So me and my buddies went to Utah and we did all the national parks. That's the trip we did, the mountain biking in Canyonlands. But we flew home from Las Vegas and I won about $4,000 on a single roll at blackjack that day. And we were only there for
holy crap.
And this was at Excalibur. And I will never forget my time in Vegas for that, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one for sure.
So what'd you do with the money?
I literally paid off the trip and then bought everybody dinner that night and then stashed the rest.
That's awesome.
She also had mentioned Nashville. Have you ever been?
No.
So Nashville is I've been there quite a bit. I do. Before COVID hit, I try to get down there once a year, and getting down there, there's so many cool bars, so many cool. It's such a good place just to go and unwind.
Yeah.
I know Percy Priest Lake is close by to there. I haven't fished it, and I've also contemplated fishing the Cumberland River right there. It's all been there, but when you're in Nashville, man, it's just such a cool place to hang out, chill, and enjoy your time. And there's a lot to see when you're down there. My best recommendation would be going to Kid Rock's Big Ass Honky Tonk. That is like the best. That is the best bar that's down there, hands down.
That's funny.
What else we got here? So she had those recommendations. Bob Hopper, Yellowstone. Cool. Kudos to that one. Yellowstone is amazing. It's beautiful. Our own Dan Perry, and I'm going to butcher this, so help me out here if you can see the screen. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. beautiful and great fishing. Does that sound like I pronounced it right?
Looks like it to me.
All right,
I failed English.
So I've heard of it and I've seen some pictures, but I've never been. That's something I would be interested in checking out. Mick Wood also has the Grand Canyon, Antelope Canyon, Mount Verde Tombstone, and he'd go back again. Steve Ondulio says Hawaii. I don't think anybody would complain that Hawaii would be a great place just to go, kick back, relax.
I've been to Hawaii. It's awesome. I love it.
Nice. Anything you want to share about it?
We went to the Big Island, Kona, Hawaii. It's not like your typical Hawaiian destination, so it's very hippie-ish island. A lot of hippies there. A lot of shanty towns too, but man, it was cool. Very relaxed little island.
Cool. Yeah, I never been, and that's somewhere I've talked about going before. Let's see here. Hey, look it, there's you.
Yep, Texas.
Because of the weather and the Devil's River. I'm gonna hold off to that one to the next or until we talk about freshwater destinations, because me and you both have the same idea there, buddy.
Yep. I'm actually going to change my answer because I did put that Devil's River, but I completely forgot about another destination.
Okay. Kevin Mann says Hawaii again, DC for the incredible museums, Colorado if you want to witness the mountains in their glory. Thanks, Kevin, for your response. Sam Jones, Arizona, big bass and beautiful weather. All right. Dennis Hernandez has Tennessee as well. Everyone says the vibe down there, and I cannot disagree. The vibe is awesome. Lindsay, now here's another one. Maine for lobster fishing and the views.
There you go.
Yeah, man. And also, repping right now, repping Old Town, who are based out of Maine, man.
Yep.
That's something I'd consider going to check out that way as well. And then Marty Quick, we just had him on as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to visit the lakes of New Hampshire and Vermont and New York and Upper New York. So I learned this a couple episodes ago. That is the Adirondacks, the area.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then the serene wildlife, amazing fishing, hiking. He's going to make it a goal to be there next year. I might see you up there, man. I as I talked about on the couple podcasts ago, I'd like to make it up that way for 9/11. So maybe we'll run into each other again up there. Allie Sweet she wants to go to Lee Lake and Grand Tetons National Park. I actually never been to Lee Lake, but I've been into the Jackson Lake in the Tetons. It is crystal clear and filled with trout. Olivia, she's gotten on me about this one time and time again, Lake Tahoe. And that's all the answers for that question. So I just want to say that was especially on the personal response, that was a lot for that one. I'm very grateful for your guys' answers on that. So Brad, if you want, I'm going to close out my screen. Do you want to share yours for the paddle and fin?
Yep. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen here.
Let me stop this one, and then I'm going to pull yours up once you got it.
All right, here we are.
All right. Cool.
So the same question. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
All right. The same question we had. If you pick any destination to travel to in the United States, where would it be and what draws you there? Catherine Field says Wyoming because Wyoming is, I can't read this all the way, flaming gorgeous, Tetons, and it's gorgeous.
The Tetons. Dude, I'm telling you, man, the Tetons. I even have it tattooed on me right here.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. Tetons are amazing.
That's cool. Ohio Outcast. He says somewhere between Montana and Wyoming, serenity, seclusion, and scenery. Yeah, that area would be cool.
Oh, I have an aunt who lives out there, and she absolutely loves it, man.
Yeah, I don't know if all you guys know who David Foyt is with NRS, but he catches some nice smallmouth in Idaho, all that area and stuff. Man, looks like fun. Next one we have here is Jono Fishing. He says, I'm going north. Not right now, though. He wants to get on some smallies. He's from Texas. And
Okay.
I actually replied back to this comment because I thought it was funny. I said, I find it funny that you Texas guys want to come north and everybody from the north wants to go south.
Absolutely.
It's
They
hilarious.
want our big smallmouth. We want their big largemouth.
Yeah, not me. I just want smallmouth. But yeah, if he ever finds himself in Ohio, for sure, I will take him fishing. Next one we have here is Wisconsin Fishing and Hunting. That's Bradley John. He's on the Hunt-a-Sode episodes with Jay and Brian. He says boundary waters, pristine waters, excellent fishing, remote enough to forget about your day job. Which
Boundary
is
waters I have never been to, but we've planned many of trips up there, and I've seen giant smallmouth and walleye come out of those waters.
Yeah, me too. And going back to what I was saying earlier, that is the destination I would probably pick because I've always wanted to go up there.
Cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that coming up, man.
And there's actually a guest that you might want to bring on your show because he could talk about the boundary waters. He goes up there every year. His name is Michael Teach, but he goes by Quetico Mike on Instagram. And he has this incredible story about how he was in the boundary waters during 9/11, and he did not find out about 9/11 until 5 days after he came back from the boundary waters.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that's insane.
It's an incredible story, and it gave me chills when I heard it. I was like, man, somebody needs to get that guy on the show.
Yeah. Well, hey man, we got a whole lineup for next year.
Heck yeah. Next one we have here is Jack Van 23. He wants to go to Michigan. Want to get some more smallmouth fishing in next year for sure. And they got beautiful spots.
Hey, that was Jack, right?
Yeah.
Jack, just if you're interested, man, we're doing the Trail Series tournament for Paddle and Fin, and we have a stop in Michigan on the Coldwater chain right outside of Battle Creek, Michigan. And also KBF is doing Lake St. Clair the first week of June. So two good spots to stop to, and you'll probably run into a few of the hosts definitely at our trail stop and at St. Clair as well.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be real cool. Next one, Faith and Fishing podcast. They'd love to see the Rockies, which shout out to them, man, because I've been talking to him a little bit. He has a cool little segment going on over there. He talks to fishing guys in the industry and talks about their faith. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Rockies would be a cool spot too.
You know, it's funny you say that because before COVID, a little background, Olivia is my girlfriend and she's a teacher. So when we travel together, it's during spring break and winter break and the summer. So we were looking at Colorado, and it was so hard to pick at Denver specifically. And it was so hard to pick, like, you know, we know there's lakes in there, but it's so hard to go for bass fishing. Everything is trout fishing out there. Mm-hmm. So I kind of have a goal to set for myself to learn to fly fish so I could do more trout fishing.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I've heard the bass fishing out in Colorado and Utah and stuff's not very great.
Yeah.
But it makes up for it in other areas, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. I'll attest to that one.
Wicked Weights. They say the Florida Keys. They want to try fishing those flats for reds, tarpons, and anything else that swims.
Yeah, buddy. Wicked Weights. And shout out to the Florida Keys, man. We had it. You know what? I don't know if I could pull it up. Maybe towards the end. I caught my biggest shark in the Florida Keys.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
How big was it?
Pull that picture up. We know it was about 13 foot long. We didn't pull it into the boat because nobody wanted to deal with that.
I wouldn't either.
It was probably, we kind of guessed it to be around 200 pounds.
Jeez.
Big bull shark, man.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah, it was a fight. It was about an hour to get it, just to get it. We thought we had a giant or Goliath grouper is what we thought we had hooked, and then we saw it.
Yeah.
We saw it was that shark.
Oh, well, speaking of Goliath grouper, bass and ginger, he says he wants to go to Tennessee. He said saltwater. He's going to go to the Florida Gulf Coast. Tennessee has all he needs. The area, lakes has it all. And he says the Gulf has so much to offer. He says his Goliath grouper he caught 2 years ago had him hooked.
Oh, man. That'd be awesome to land one.
Yep. Mike Neese says Texas, a bunch of lakes and rivers he'd like to hit up, and it's warmer than Ohio. He's not lying.
Oh, no. How much snow did you guys get?
We've had snow for the last 2 days, but it's hitting and melting, so
Okay.
yeah, it's not been too bad.
I know a lot of guys on the East Coast are digging out from like 2-3 feet of snow that they got.
Yeah, I don't think it's been warm enough to get the ground frozen for it to stick and stuff. Yeah. Miss Fun Fishing, Alaska, wild, rugged, pristine. That's a good one. And then there's my answer, but I changed it.
All right.
To the Boundary Waters.
Cool.
And that's all we have.
Nice. Well, and for everyone listening, thank you again for your responses, because, we kind of at first were like, this was kind of shot in the dark as to how well this was going to work out. And you guys hit it on the head, man. So thank you guys for participating. We got a little bit more questions to go. But just that alone, man, it just makes me want to go on southwest.com and purchase a plane ticket.
Dude, you're the perfect host for this segment. I'll tell you what.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to move on to the next question. Our next question that we asked was, and we're going to make this on our banner, if you could pick an international destination to travel to, where would it be and what draws you there? So my international destination I have is Iceland. And what draws me to Iceland is the Blue Lagoon and the Northern Lights. I also want to go whale watching while I'm out there. And their capital looks freaking awesome. And I'm going to try to say this the best I can. Skogafoss is the capital of Iceland. And then there's also another town called Reykjavik. And then they have huge waterfalls as well down there. So that is my ultimate, like, hey, if I could go anywhere, it'd be Iceland. Just because that Blue Lagoon looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like it'd be nice.
And it's good year round.
Yeah. That's true. So mine, I guess I'll go ahead and share that here. I wrote something different on Instagram. I misread the question, but so I'm going to change it because I know exactly what I'm going to change it to. Okay. And I'm going to go Rome, Italy.
Nice.
Just because I want to see the Colosseum, and there's something about like that and gladiators that gets me jacked up, dude. I just think it'd be so cool.
I always fear, like, if you were to walk into the Coliseum and like you're in the arena, all of a sudden everything just shuts and they open up like a big door. Here comes a lion running out. And it's just a lion.
It's exactly stuff like that. That's what I think of. Or like a big, huge gladiator dude that weighs like 300 pounds and has chains and spikes all over him,
There's a meme that's been going around and it goes, hey, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but Mad Max was was set in 2021. And anybody who's watched Mad Max or Thunderdome knows what we're talking about.
Yeah. I don't watch movies, so I don't know.
Oh man. Yeah. That's Thunderdome. Thunderdome is the second series in the Mad Max series. And Tina Turner plays a queen where it's just like the Coliseum. And everybody has to fight for their freedom inside of there.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, stuff like that's cool.
little humor to to lighten up the year of 2020 here. So Rome is cool, man. And I don't know if you know this, but even though my last name's Ski, Paskalski, and people automatically slap the Polish label on me, which is fine because I'm half Polish, but I'm also half Italian as well.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
That's cool.
So even though I should say Italy is a destination, it is, but I'd like to go to Iceland more before going to Italy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take some answers from our listeners, and let's see what we got here. So share screen. I got one answer on my Instagram, but quite a few on the Facebook. So we'll start with the Instagram answer, and that's going to be from Dan Perry. So, and I'm going to butcher this because Maldives, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And he says he was there on deployment for 6 months in the military. He's wanted to go back ever since. He said it's the most beautiful place on earth. You know, I would love to check it out, man. You know, if it's close to someone's heart and they say that, you know, that's where they want to go, then there's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to share the screen for the Facebook now. And we have, I think, almost 20 in the one on my Facebook one. So we're going to try to get through these answers best we can here. So let's share this. All right. So the first answer I have is for Michael Neal. My gosh. The Czech Republic, Pruge. I think that's how you say it. Cool. Vicky Mullen, Costa Rica, beaches and rainforest. Now, that holds a close spot in my heart because later on down in another question is an answer about Costa Rica. I've been there. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful. And yes, I am planning on going back. John Hank said, check that as in the Czech Republic. Lindsay Michelle says Italy, Ireland, Scotland, Poland, Germany, and France. That almost sounds like it's one of like a European 2-week tour. If you got us and made all the stops, which, man, that'd be great too. Dubai from Olivia. Sarah Liz says Jamaica. Martin says Greece.
Oh, that'd be a cool one too.
Well, speaking of Greece, let's talk a little bit about that. Saul, one of our hosts on the podcast, he's moving there.
Yep, in end of January.
Yeah, and he's moving from Puerto Rico to there. So I mean, you got to think about that internationally. Like you're leaving an island to go to somewhat of a mainland halfway around the world. How are you going to get your kayaks there?
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, how are you going to get your kayaks there? We'll have to ask in the group chat.
It would be so cool if he moves over there and kayak fishing blows up. That'd be awesome.
Oh, dude, and like to his credit, he'd probably be the one who was like founding this.
Yeah.
You know, so I just best wishes for him on that one because that's huge.
Yep.
Nick Zaricki says the Bahamas. Nice. He said it's the clearest, most beautiful water you'll ever see. He also recommended Grand Cayman as well. And Cancun. And Victoria, British Columbia. Donnie Joinkins, sorry. Donnie was our guest when he talked about his he was 3 months on the Mississippi River paddling for veterans.
That was a good show.
And he recommended Tanzania. Sarah Scamacey recommends the Grand Caymans. Where else? Grand Caymans as well was actually not only second, it was also third recommendation under that. Sandra Grunwald recommends Germany for Oktoberfest. Yes, absolutely. I would love to go to Munson to go to Oktoberfest. That'd be, oh man. I don't think I'd remember it, but I'd love to go. Uh,
Hilarious.
Justin Hausner, shout out to Justin, man. He's actually, when we were referring to the episodes in the Adirondacks, that's who my guest was for that. So he said on his list is either Australia or Spain, and I couldn't agree more with Australia. If my second choice, I was torn between Iceland and Australia. I'm definitely with the on going to especially the southern coast of Australia. We have Tony Ka, Sydney, Australia as well. Anna Rodriguez has Greece. She was born there and hasn't seen her family in over 30 years. And underneath her as well is Ariel Fornino Mackie. She has Greece. It's where she became friends with her best friend and husband, and many beautiful places as well as amazing culture. So Saul has a lot to look forward to going to Greece based on everybody's recommendation here.
Yeah.
Matt Litz has Antarctica, Afghanistan, Canada. God, the list goes on, and I could second his statement there. And Vicky Mullen again has Scotland, Ireland for the haunted castles. I don't know if I could do that.
Me either. I don't like that kind of
Oh
stuff.
man, I'm cool, and I had to explain to everybody, Halloween. It doesn't really do. People get really excited about Halloween, and they get excited about like the ghost and everything. And I tell people, unfortunately, being a fireman has ruined me for that, because I'm always in the mindset of prepare for like the unexpected.
Mhm.
I'm always waiting for something to hop out somewhere or like something happen, because I had to do that like on a daily basis. So when people go to a haunted house and they're screaming, I'm the one laughing at everything.
Yeah. Never
So,
thought about that.
but the ghost, nah, man, I don't do that Ouija board and
No.
summoning all those spirits, man.
I don't either.
Let them rest. What do you got, Brad? What does Paddle and Fin have for comments?
All right. Same question here. And I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing this one. But Catherine Field says Kamchatka Peninsula, extreme wilderness, and world-class trophy salmon and trout.
Okay.
Which I don't know where that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I would probably reckon to say somewhere between maybe over in like the Canadian Alaska area, but we'll definitely have to get in contact with her and see.
Yeah, and this post only got 2 replies. So Faith and Fish and Pod, they said they'd have to they. I think I'd have to say Brazil. Lots of interesting culture to experience, tasty cuisine, and the chance to fish a river with biodiversity that rivals the ocean.
That's an awesome answer.
Yeah.
And I wonder, and that's another thing too. Like, you see, it's kind of weird. You see American, like in Costa Rica, you see a lot of Americanized culture, down there. But when you go further south into like the Amazon and Brazil, they probably have a whole different way of fishing than what we do.
Yeah.
In the States. So it'd be interesting to see how they're catching fish down there as well. I mean, I'm sure you could watch the river monsters and stuff like that, but to actually see it firsthand, it makes you think and makes you open your eyes a little bit to how diverse, there, like the saying goes, there's more than one way to catch a fish or skin a cat.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next question here. Next question is, if you could fish one fresh water lake.
Anything else I can help with?
If you could fish one freshwater lake or river in the United States, what lake would it be or river would it be, and what species of fish would you go after? So I'm going to start with mine right here, and I'm going to answer both parts because it's my show and I can answer any question I want. So, but number one, hands down, bucket list here in the United States, and I said it earlier, is Devil's River in Texas. And what really inspired me was there's a Yeti Coolers has shorts or movies. There's short movies and they have long movies. This was a short following a guide, who was a fly fishing guide on the Devil's River. And we want to talk about encompassing everything that I love about nature, between hiking, fishing, kayaking, getting in the water to wade fish. It's all there. And they were going after these beautiful smallmouth. They have big largemouth, and they have the Guadalupe bass in there as well. And but it's like a full day adventure, and it's a multi-day trip that's going on down there when they do this. And from what I understand, you have to start upstream and go all the way to takeout point, because the flow is too fast to try to go back upstream. So this is definitely day's floating trip. You're doing primitive camping, and it's everything that I'd love. And that's why I'd make that my destination in the US to go Devil's River. Now, go ahead, Brett.
So that is one of the places that I want to go to too, but there's another one that I think I'd rather go to.
Hit me.
The new river for smallmouth in West Virginia.
Huh.
And, Virginia, West Virginia. It runs through both, but it's supposed to be a world-class river. Jody Queen fishes it all the time. Drew Gregory's done videos on it. They have a 12-mile section of river that is specifically catch and release only, and it's called the trophy section.
Hi.
So, yeah, it just sounds like a blast. Plus, you got all these huge rapids, and I mean, they're like class 3, I think. It could probably get nuts.
Yeah, you better have a lot of tie downs on for your gear, man.
Yeah, if I'm doing that, I'm doing like a minimal, like 3 rods at most.
Yep. I would I'm also going to put in the lake I would like to fish. And I'm only saying this because with COVID and everything, I got screwed out of it this year. Fortunately, with work, I had to abide by policies that are there. But Gunnersville, I need to get to Gunnersville. I've seen the megalons that come out of there. There's big Florida strand bass that come out. We got messed up the first time around with COVID for the national championship when it was supposed to happen in March. Then it got pushed back to October. Couldn't go to that one either. So I had to make it a point to go because there's world-class bass fishing there, and there's good smallmouth that come out of there too.
Huh. I would go down there just for that.
Yeah. And they're all based out because it's all part of the Tennessee River. So, just north of there is Chickamauga. Going south, it's Wheeler. So that's all one river. So it's the same river, just lakes that were flooded and dammed off to help with flooding and stuff in those towns. And now they're world-class fishery.
That's cool.
So, all right. So I'm going to pull up the Instagram. We're going to check out some of the answers from our listeners. Let's see here. That came up. So let's go to share screen, Chrome tab, and let's go to. All right. So the next one we got here. All right. So, and I want to say, I don't know if I got to look back on my notes here. Okay. I do have it in my notes. So we didn't have any commented answers on this one. However, though, when it was the asked question on the poll in the story, we did have Lake Texoma was a destination for striper. I also had anywhere in South Florida to go after peacock bass, and I also had Lake Okeechobee in Florida for giant largemouth. So those were 3 answers. Those were 3 anonymous answers that came through on the poll on that. Okay. So we're gonna stop sharing this screen, and we're gonna go and share our Facebook one here. So let's see. And then the Facebook, we had some more answers to that as well. All right. And this is 4 more comments. All right, so Mr. Armando, he has Devil's River. He said, "Sorry, Brad, I beat you to your comment." So yeah, Devil's River is on a lot of bucket list here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Mitchell, shout out to Austin. He's on our Rocktown fishing team. He is one of the few people who fishes out of a kayak fly fishing for muskie. So
Wow.
he said St. Clair for muskie or somewhere in Alaska for rainbows on a mice fly. Todd Wolf has Alaska anywhere for salmon fishing. Olivia says Lake Tahoe for piranha. I'll break it to her when we get there. There's no piranha in there. She was watching too many horror movies when that came out. Christian Howe. Shout out to Christian Howe. He's actually a local fisherman here in Chicago who writes for our local newspaper. He'll submit articles for fishing around here, and he wants Lake Superior for Lakers and whitefish. Cool. And that's all we got on the response for that one.
We did get a few on the Instagram. I already got it pulled up.
Cool. Let's share that.
All right. So the first answer here from Kayak Crave, Josh Cravens. He says Devil's River, so another one. Rough Life Outdoors, Jacob Ruff. Kenai River for King Salmon. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. And then Daniel Perry says Columbia River for sturgeon.
And you know what? A lot of people sleep on that one on the Columbia River because not only are there giant sturgeon, I've looked out that way. There's giant salmon and walleye that come out of that river as well. I will say this though, I am surprised. We'll have to talk to Jay Randall, but the Snake River. I'm surprised nobody said the Snake River.
Yeah,
sturgeon.
That's in Idaho, right?
That is in Idaho, correct?
Yeah, I think that's where David Foyt fishes and catches all his big smallmouth.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd love to get on out there on the Snake River. That'd be cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, any river. If you say river, I'm like, where? Tell me where. I'll go.
All right. So moving on to our next question. Very similar to this next question or the last question. This is if you could fish one saltwater destination in the I'm sorry, scratch that. Get ahead of myself. No, I'm not. If you could fish one saltwater destination in the United States, where would it be, and what fish would you choose to go after? So, this one's probably an obvious answer, and I didn't see a lot of it, but my destination would be Venice, Louisiana for reds. That's, I mean, you if you Google or if you YouTube Venice, and yes, I'm going to throw sauce again on Guggen Squad and John B. They made their a very good video of them fishing and getting their boat stuck because they didn't realize the tide. It was low tide.
Oh man,
that was great. They're all out there trying to push the boat over into the over the hump and back into where the water meets again. But I would definitely go chase after bull reds down there, man. That looks like the place to be. And then, before I leave, go back to Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Heck yeah. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, buddy.
So I'll probably say Texas. And when I get down there, I'm calling doo-doo and I'm saying, let's go and catch some big redfish.
Yeah.
So wherever he recommends, that's where I'm going to go.
Nice. I'm just typing this up in our bar real quick so we can see.
Yeah, redfish has always been like a bucket list fish for me, man. They look cool.
Same here. And I'd love to get down, I'd love to get down to the coast and, I've had redfish. I've actually ate redfish and they're very tasty too.
They kind of look like a carp a little bit.
And that's funny you say that because the way their mouths are too towards the bottom. But if I'm not mistaken, and I might need some, if correct me if I'm wrong to everyone who's listening, but aren't they part of the drum family?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's an interesting question.
I'm pretty sure they are part of the drum family, because even though they have a bigger body profile, I want to say they have a lot of similar feature because you have, I think they call them red drum. So anyone who's, saltwater fisherman, doo-doo, if you're out there too, man, if you can answer this one, be great. But I'm pretty sure they're called drum.
Interesting.
So let's go to we'll go to my Instagram first for 4-Star Fishing and take some answers here. We did, if I believe correctly, we did get a few responses out of here. So let's see what we got. All right. So yeah, here. Oh, you know what? This is another one. Let me go back to the notes. This is another one where they were answered in the poll. So let me close this out. I have that note right here. Okay, so again, anonymous answers, but I'm just going to throw them out there. We have guys saying Florida Keys. Another answer was Orange. I think I have Orange Beach area, so which would be Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Port Arthur. So Port Arthur is actually where Doo-Doo's at.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's like the northeast corner of Texas over there. Here's one. Chesapeake Bay was another anonymous answer that I have. And then the last one here is Crystal River in Florida. So I think that's brackish water out that way. Crystal River, I want to say that's just north of like St. Pete Beach area.
Okay.
So, all right. So we're gonna go over to my Facebook, and we're gonna check in on answers from that one. And let's scroll up here. Okay, so yeah, this is our saltwater one. We only got 4, so all right. Tall Paul has Florida freshwater canals for peacocks. Yeah, around Miami, that's a huge one. Marco Island for Mr. Dan Perry. Isla Mirada, Bradley Johns is saying that, and he wants to go tarpon on the fly. Dude, I'm with you all the way on that one. Tarpon on the fly would be awesome. And then, Brad, you also have your answer here is hitting up Texas with Doo-Doo.
Yep.
Cool, man.
And actually, our post on the Instagram, it only had one comment, and that was Bradley John saying Isla Mirada.
Okay, cool. All right. Next question. If you could fish any international freshwater, where lake or river, where would you go, and what species of fish would you chase? So my answer here, and I think a lot of answers I saw in these comments were kind of amongst the same. I'd like to go to the Amazon for peacock bass.
That would be cool.
Where'd you like to go?
I said Amazon for the diversity. I mean, I was a big River Monsters fan, so Jeremy Wade going to the Amazon. I saw him get hit in the chest by an arapaima. I was like, that looks cool. I want to do that. But yeah, peacock would be awesome. That's another bucket list fish. And then I can't remember if the Goliath tigerfish was in the Amazon or not.
I'm not 100% sure on that one.
But yeah, just the diversity of the Amazon River, I think it'd be cool.
Absolutely. Let's pull up the Instagram and actually, let's see here. All right, so, and we're gonna share the screen. I love this feature, man. Sharing the screen.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I like it.
All right, so this one has, let's see here. I got one reply on Instagram, but I got a few that were on the Facebook account. So definitely Southeast Australia for Murray cod or the Amazon for peacock bass, and that's coming from Jeremy Mitchell Fishing. So Jeremy, thanks for your answer there on the Instagram. And now let's stop this and pull up Facebook.
Yeah, the Paddle and Fin page got quite a bit of answers on Instagram.
Yeah, I did see that, man. All right, so let's go up. All right. Oh, you know what? That's probably where it was the Paddle and Fin. Olivia wants to go after some more piranhas in the Amazon, so she's going with me on this one.
Heck yeah. That'd be cool too.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to, you're like, there's piranhas and you get the whole stigma of like, you put your foot in.
Yeah.
Go ahead and share the Paddle and Fin, man.
Yep. I'm already here.
Cool. Let's add that to the stream. All right. Uh-oh. You lost your mic. Crap. All right, so 50, let's go with 5630.
There we go. I got it.
All right. I was just writing down, I was doing what Brian told us to do, is write down those times. So yeah. I marked it at 5630. So just start over and I'll mark it at like 57, whenever you start talking.
Okay. All right. So here we have Old Town Canoes. They commented on our post here on Instagram. Yeah. They put Cam Chatka for white spotted char.
Wow.
I'm going to have a little bit of trouble pronouncing some of these words. Faith and Fishing Pod said the Essequibo River in Guyana would be really high on the list. Even harder to answer, though, is what species to target. Big red-tailed catfish, vampire fish, wolffish, you name it. I want to grow that life list. That sounds good. Good answer. Kayak Dude 7 says Amazon for peacocks.
Yep. He knows.
Yeah. Witty Outdoors, Amazon River for giant peacocks on top water.
Man. And you see what's in Florida, and I've seen I think this guy's named Steve Townsend, Amazon angler. And like some of the peacock bass that he pulls out of the Amazon are insane.
Yeah, I bet. I bet they get real big down there too.
Oh, yeah.
All about the bronze. Josh Shrinko from the Smalley Talk podcast, he commented on. He said South Africa to catch some smallmouth, which that blew my mind.
Mine too. I saw that comment. I'm like, whoa. I knew there was largemouth, and Bassmasters just did an article about 3-4 months ago about the trophy largemouth bass that are in South Africa.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, smallmouth, though, I would have never guessed there were smallmouth in South Africa. That's crazy. Let's see. R. Jones Fishing, Ebro River in Spain. They have a huge catfish there. Another one for peacock bass from Online Outdoorsman.
Cool.
Filipino Fishing Ninja. Great name. I like it. He says Lake Calarea, homeland Philippines. Fishing for largemouth bass that the U.S. government introduced long ago for the GIs. And he said secrets. And then he tagged Jay Randall and Brian Schiller. They don't know about sticking to the weeds over there. And that was the last one for that one.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, given the response, and those are some great answers, man. And the Philippines, and I'm surprised too. So the Philippines was one, but I was also surprised that Japan wasn't mentioned in this.
Yeah.
And I only say Japan because we are importing a lot of Japanese lures, especially mega bass. Look how big those lures have
Heck.
blown on the U.S. market. And I'm curious. I don't think the bass there are tremendously big, but enough to where it would make there's enough of a market out there where they're making excellent lures.
Yeah. Oh, jackhammers from over there, right?
Yeah, jackhammer.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
world record bass is from Japan too, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. So the Japanese market is coming this way, and there's bass out that way as well.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So we got, in terms of fishing, we got one last question for fishing here. And that's going to be, if you could fish any international saltwater destination, where would it be and what species of fish would you chase after? So mine, I had hinted at it earlier in the podcast, and it's Costa Rica. Now, I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to the Guanacaste area, which is the Northwest Pacific region. And we were there. We caught tuna. We had a good time. But they have the International Marlin Cup out there. And I would love to be a part of that. That is 100% probably some of the most there's the Marlin run on the Pacific side is absolutely huge in the wintertime down that way. And you get a whole international draw to this area of Costa Rica to go and catch 300-pound plus marlin. That doesn't sound like a good time. I don't know what does. But what would be even cooler is doing like a Robert Field style, going out on the ocean in a kayak and hooking up to one of those beasts and having it pull you around.
Yeah.
So that's my choice for this answer. What do you got?
I didn't really know what to think of for this one. Yeah, I'm not real big on international stuff or saltwater, but I don't know. Is the Mediterranean Sea saltwater?
It sure is.
I would go and try that. I don't know what's over there, but that whole area of the world seems like it's cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this question, I didn't realize the response wasn't too great, but it also kind of made you think that, going on beyond the scope of where we're actually at, in terms of saltwater fishing. I think a lot of it is kind of almost the same throughout. It's just pick your scenery of what you want to go for. But we'll pull up the Instagram. I don't think I got anything on it real quick. Before I share the screen, I'm just going to verify and double check that. And yeah, this one didn't get too much of a response back. Which that's all right. This also show too. Oh, you know what? I take that back. We have two here. Let me share this. Okay. Let's go to share screen. Okay, so we have two answers here. One's again from Austin Mitchell and Cosmodello. Now hang on, that got cut out somewhat. Let's see here. Ooh. I want to say that says auto call on the GTs on the fly. So Cosmodello is in Mexico, and then Mike Ruka, shout out to Mike, local guy here. He says, "Take me back to Punta Cana for another 250-pound marlin." Right with you there, man. That'd be great. Then let's double check the Facebook from mine. I don't think I got a lot of response back on this one. Yeah.
It seemed like the rivers and the lakes ones got the most popular responses.
Yeah, and the two responses I have are from one's from Sarah Nicature again. She has the Mexico for Mahi, and then Nick also said chimed in with Costa Rica as well again, and we were together on that trip in Costa Rica. So
Okay.
nothing too much for that one, which is if you don't go beyond the scope, it's not that big of a deal, but it's something to think about. And these are questions that, not a lot of people dabble in. So, it's all good on that one. Did anything come up on our paddle and fin page?
Yeah, just one here.
All right, what do you got?
All right, you got it on the screen?
Yep.
All right. Never lost gear.
All
They
right.
commented on our post. They said that's a hard one. Always wanted to visit Australia. They have some amazing looking rivers. Would love to get the HD Kusa on. As for what species they would target, anything that's biting.
There you go.
So they kind of have the mindset I do about saltwater, I guess.
So, all right. So we are done with the questions in regards to fishing and travel destinations here. I'm going to go ahead and remove your screen. But the next and the last question I have posed today, and there really wasn't much in response to my Facebook or the Instagram for 4-star fishing, which is good. I mean, no news is good news, I guess. I guess I'm doing something right. But the question today is, what would you like to hear more or less of in addition to of Off the Water podcast? And I answered my own question, and something I'm going to do on this podcast is more international destinations.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'd like to kind of, and it's funny that leads into this, but I like to draw attention to what else is going on in the world, because we look primarily here in the States. But you brought up a good point with Saul going to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of fishing scenes going on there, or what's going on in Ireland or Australia? Because Australia was a destination for the Hobie World Cup, and I feel like we don't really talk about it. So I really want to start pulling more of those international destinations and bringing light to those. So in addition to destinations here in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, go international as well around the world.
Man, I think it would be real cool for you to have some of those guys that participate in Hobie Worlds to talk about their area of the country.
Yeah, that's and that's exactly why we're doing this, just to throw out ideas to that's great, man. Thank you for that.
Yep.
I'm writing that down right now.
I have a good idea every now and then.
Yeah. So there's your idea, and I honestly we didn't get anything on I know I didn't get anything on mine today. Just because I checked them right before the show. However, on the paddle and fin one, I did see there was a comment if you want to pull that one up.
Yeah, it's a pretty long comment here, which is it's pretty cool. It looks like he's a new listener. Yeah. And I actually tagged Ryan and Sean in this because it sounds like some of the stuff he would cover in his segment. But if you're ready, I got it here.
Here we go.
He says, new angler here, just discovered your podcast and like it. If you could cover questions, concepts, you can. If you've covered these questions and comments, concepts, you can ignore. But he says, 1, fish finder utility in shallow versus deep water. How to work different cover areas, fishing along submerged grass lines first or over them, attack submerged trees distally or proximally first, how to build a collection of rods. In general, what do you switch bait types of bait colors first if you're struggling to get bites, explaining significance of overcast versus sunny versus windy, general rules of thumb to follow under different conditions, what kind of maintenance for reels and kayaks need to be done, and how the heck you figure out strength of braid to what strength leader. So like I said, I tagged Ryan and Sean in those comments, and I said, here are some show ideas for you guys from a listener, because I feel like those would fit their segment pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I also went ahead and I DM'd him, and this is not yet Bassmasters, not yet a Bassmaster. And I did go ahead, DM him. I asked him, if he's, or I referred him to the noob section, but I asked him if he has free time to even have a Skype, because I want to make sure, he reached out, he asked these questions, and at least from us, from Paddle and Fin, to make sure he gets his answers.
Yeah.
So we'll have a little chat with him, send him off to Ryan and Sean's way, on because I know a lot of these are answered in some of these podcasts. But have a conversation with the gentleman and make sure he gets the most out of it, especially being new to the sport, man. It's awesome to get guys to come out and ask for help like this. So, shout out to not yet a Bassmaster, but we're here to help you.
Yeah, for real. I mean, he's coming on a bunch of my posts too lately, and if you hear this, man, send me a message and ask me some questions. I'm not an expert, like I said earlier, but I'll help you out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that is going to wrap up 2020. I didn't tell you this right away, but do you want to play a little game?
Sure. I think I know what's coming.
The game of true confessions.
Yep.
You listen to the podcast, you know how this game goes. Or do you?
I do a little bit, I think.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you a statement or a story or something of the like, and it's for you to decide whether that's a true story, true statement, so on and so forth, or give me the bullshit flag and call me on it. And you're going to do the same, and I had to decipher yours.
Okay.
So here we go. Once upon a time, this is going back 4 years ago. I was out in your area. I had gone to Sandusky, Ohio. I had taken my little brothers for their 16th birthday to Cedar Point. And while at Cedar Point, you get to see, I want to say that's Port Clinton. I'm not too sure of what that harbor is there, but it's there in Sandusky. But anyhow, me and my sister and the twins, we were there, and while we were walking up and down Cedar Point, there's guys who are along the banks fishing. And one of the guys who was fishing starts screaming right away. And we're like, what the hell's going on? He's like, I've been bit. I've been bit. He grabs the snake and he throws it into the park. Everyone starts screaming because there's this giant snake now in the park terrorizing all the patrons of Cedar Point. And I could not help but laugh because I knew it was a water snake, so it wasn't anything venomous. But people just see a flying snake that just bit somebody and run in sheer terror.
That's funny. I'm going to say it's true.
Absolutely. Oh, I could not make that up. And then and shortly after that, there was that Dirty Jobs show with and they were going along Lake Erie right there, and collecting these snakes to do data analysis on them. So, yeah,
That's funny.
Oh yeah, that made it worth the whole trip.
All right, so it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right, so one of the funniest stories that comes to mind, I guess, is a lot of people that know me. I listen to metal, and I drag my wife along with me to concerts and stuff. So one time, we went to a Day to Remember concert up in Cleveland, and I was looking over at her, just like, jamming, stuff like that. And I look over at her. She's like, I want to crowd surf. I was like, all right. So I picked her up, put her over on top of the the crowd, and everybody started pushing up on her. Well, she started getting a little seasick and threw up all over the top of the head of one guy. And I was just sitting there. I was like, what the heck just happened, dude? That was crazy.
Dude, you can't make that up.
Yeah, I can. I'm a good liar.
I just thought you were lying that you like the Day to Remember.
Nah, they're all right.
Yeah, all right. I only listened to them when I was working out today.
Hey, well, part of the story is true. I mean, my wife, that's one of her favorite bands. We love going to concerts and stuff. I love metal.
Hey, man.
But the puking never happened.
I remember we were looking through pictures the other day, and all the pictures we took at concerts. Like, remember when we used to go concerts and see people play live? Yeah, I sure miss those days.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait. I kind of want to go see August Burns Red live.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now they usually tour and they do their Christmas theme.
Yeah, they're doing it all streaming right now on their website. You got to buy a ticket.
That's cool. Well, and you know what, man? Those guys, this whole impact of that, the music industry, especially for smaller artists, man, it's it was hard to begin with, and it's even harder now.
Yeah, I believe it.
So, well, Brad, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for answering these questions with me, and thank you for putting out these questions on the Paddle and Fin on all our social media platforms for guys to answer.
No problem.
I think the show was a pretty good success. The comments we got and the feedback we got were excellent. So I definitely look forward to doing another show like this. But it was really cool, man. And
it has my brain brainstorming here a little bit for some stuff. Good idea.
Yeah, and it gives our listeners a chance to interact with us, man. So all good all around. So, well, guys, last show for 2020. Just give a quick shout out to Rocktown Adventures, Wicked Weights, and TRC, and everyone who's sponsored and supported this podcast. Not only the Off the Water segment, but Paddle and Fin as a whole. So, thank you guys for making us have another successful year, and we look forward to 2021. Till then, I'll see you guys off the water. Peace.
See ya.